Today, I'm working on a mid-1990s Kawasaki Bayou 300 ATV that will not start. I'm going to quickly show you how I go about diagnosing the issue and hopefully how I fix it. Just to give you some backstory, this quad had been running great, but then the last time I got it out, it started sputtering and became difficult to restart. Now when I try to start it, this is all it does. The first thing everyone should do is confirm their four-wheeler is in the run position, the key is on, the gas is on, and that it's in neutral. Now if you're watching this, those things are probably good to go and your ATV does indeed have a mechanical problem. So now we need to check to see if it has spark. I happen to have a cheap spark tester that I bought at Harbor Freight Tools for only a couple dollars, so I'm going to use that. It does not fit these style of plugs very good, so I'm going to have to hold it in place while I crank the engine. It looks like I do indeed have spark. If you don't have a spark tester, you could also simply hold the spark plug by the boot close to the engine block and look for a spark like this. Since I have spark, I'm going to check to see if I have fuel. The easiest way I think to do this is to see if the quad will start using starter fluid. So to do this, remove the seat and remove the rubber hose from the carburetor. Then just spray starter fluid into the carb while you're attempting to start the engine. Honestly, I expected my four-wheeler to start to try to fire right now, and it's not. There's still a chance that I have a fuel problem. It could be flooded. So I'm going to remove the spark plug and see if it looks fouled out and see if it smells like fuel. This spark plug smells like gas, but it doesn't really look fouled out or flooded. It's old and has some buildup on it, but I've seen worse. At this point, I'm thinking the worst for this four-wheeler. It's time to perform a compression test. If it fails, my quad could be in need of a top-end rebuild. An engine is supposed to be warm when you're checking true engine compression, but in this case that's not possible and not really even necessary, as I really just need to confirm that there's enough compression to cause the engine to fire. Per my manual, a warm engine using the electric starter should read between 115 and 179 psi. If you are using the recoil starter, it should be slightly higher at between 119 and 185 psi. But again, don't worry so much about being between those marks, just that you have compression. Thankfully, my engine was well into these ranges, so I do not have an internal engine problem. If you don't have a compression gauge, with the spark plug in, you could simply try using the recoil starter by hand. You should be able to tell if it's easier to pull than usual, and if it feels like it's building pressure. Okay, so in my case, this is when working on cars, trucks, boats, quads, anything gets frustrating. I seem to have everything necessary and this engine should fire. Since my spark plug was a little fouled and appeared tired, I decided to go ahead and replace that since it's time anyway and it really won't be a waste of money. And guess what? That was my problem. Apparently, even though it was showing spark by both methods, it just wasn't firing correctly when it was inserted into the chamber. Had the spark plug not fixed it, at that point I probably would have went ahead and did a carb rebuild, since this is the most common problem on these four-wheelers, and truly my methods for checking for a fuel problem aren't foolproof. But it was my spark plug. I hope this helped you with your four-wheeler, and also just to plug my other channel, if you happen to have any kids, I'd love it if you check out our Kids Adventure channel. It's called Modern Tom Sawyer, and we just do a lot of crazy and wild and fun things that encourage kids to get outside. I'll leave a link in the description. Thanks.
Whoa! Man.